We're seeing the dollar move lower versus all the major currency pairs. I'll focus on three of them: the dollar versus Canada, the Aussie versus US dollar, and the New Zealand versus US dollar in this video. So let's get started. Let's start by looking at the dollar versus Canada. You can see how the price initially moved higher in the Asian Pacific session into the European session, but we moved back up toward that 38.2% retracement of the move up from the end of October high to the beginning of November low. That 38.2 came near the 1.404333 level, and the price rotated back to the downside. We're seeing this big move to the downside over the last last hour of trading, and in the process, move below the 50% retracement at 1.40135. That is now going to be a close risk level. Note that it'll be based against that level here in trading yesterday before moving to the upside. So it has some recent history that may keep the sellers use that level as resistance. On the downside, we need to get below the double bottom from yesterday, which also corresponded with this swing area through here. That double bottom comes in at 1.400, nice natural level. So far, we have been able to hold support against that level. So get below that level opens the door for further selling. Let's look at the Aussie versus US dollar next. So we'll again focus on the hourly chart, and what you can see is that the price action started the day near the 100-day moving average. That's this blue line right here, also near the swing area right here. We actually tried to move above it in the last few hours of trading yesterday and into the Asian session, but couldn't do it, and then we rotated all the way to the downside. That moved to the downside, got below the 200-hour moving average, which should have sent the price lower, but when we couldn't get below this low right here, the buyers returned, and ultimately the buyers started to push the price more to the upside the last hour or so. I see a rotation back to the upside with that 100-day moving average still looming ahead at 0.65384. If we're able to get above that level, get above the broken 38.2% retracement in the swing area up to 0.6544, that would open the door for further upside momentum. But there's a lot of stuff going on here, so be aware of that in the Aussie versus US dollar. So far, the sellers have leaned against that level and pushed the price a little down with the price at 0.65307. On the downside, watch this level right here near the 0.65249, and then the 200-hour moving average will come back into play on the downside on further selling in this pair. Finally, let's take a look at the New Zealand versus US dollar. And again, we'll look at the hourly chart, and the price moved sharply to the downside over the last few weeks of trading, above the bottom on Friday before rotating to the upside and trading yesterday. We traded above and below the 100-hour moving average, as you can see in the Asian session. Let me zoom out a little bit here. But the price moved below that 100-hour moving average, opening the door for further selling. But like the Aussie versus US dollar, couldn't get below the previous low right through here, and the price started to rotate to the upside. You can see how the price based against 100-hour moving average before moving to the upside of the last few hours. Now we have the 200-hour moving average at 0.56715 as a level that we need to aspire toward and get above in order to increase the bullish bias. If we're able to do that, that would open the door for further upside momentum in this pair with the 38.2% retracement as the next target. That level also happens to correspond roughly with this low going back to the month of October, which was broken again in early November. So moving back above those two levels would be needed to increase the bullish bias. But first things first, you need to get above the 200-hour moving average. You can't get above that. We're in between the 100 and 200-hour moving averages of market. Digest what to do next in a more neutral area from a technical perspective. So that's my look at three of the commodity currencies: the dollar Canada, the Aussie versus US dollar, New Zealand versus US dollar. My name is Greg Michalowski. Good fortune with your trading. Bye-bye now.